Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 2024 Trilogy Funds Australian Pickleball Championships. Just doing some adjustments to our voices behind the microphone there. A couple of butter menthols entering our systems. We're about to kick off live for this semi-final clash of the Open Men's Division. Andrew Horridge has just served the ball there. His partner, Oliver Gray, on the other side. And the maroon, you could say, is Lucas Pascoe, 17-year-old dynamo. He's playing with his captain of the Fast Fours in the MLP Australia format in George Wall. And an ATP defended, but unfortunately goes wide. Well, if that's an indication of what we've got in store here, Dylan Kimlin, I'm pretty excited.
I was with Andy Horridge earlier today after his victory in the last game, and someone asked him, how are you possibly going to take on Lucas and George? And what's your strategy? And Andy was like, I don't know, we'll just figure it out. There's not much you can do against these two. But an ATP is a definite confidence booster to get your game going.
Well, one thing I will say about Lucas Pascoe, he's got so many shots, but he does push the ball very wide very often, and he does open up the court for these ATP opportunities. So it may be something he needs to rein in. Otherwise, expect for it to be exploited by Andy Horridge.
Oh, there we go. Ollie Gray firing. And that is a scary thing. I recall playing with Ollie Gray and Lucas Pascoe way back in the day when they first started playing at Beanley Pickleball. You had these two young guns still in school at that point in time. Knew from that point in that these two would be dominant on the court, and here we are at a packed event at APC.
Nice speed up there by Ollie Gray, and a very early timeout call here. I can't help but say that's probably the influence of the very level-headed George Wall.
Well, George regarded as one of the most switched-on players in the Australian pickleball scene. Very strategic, always thinking about the game, and highly respected too. George is such a good bloke. Everyone appreciates what he does for the Australian pickleball scene, and the captain of the Fast Fours. I know all of the Fours participants from Season 1 appreciated him, and he continues to lead. They unfortunately went down in our Gold Coast event for Season 2 to the Southeast Asia Surge, but the Surge were ridiculous at that point in time, Adam. You and I got to call that game. But we can see here, well, we can't see here, but on the right side, Ollie Gray and Andy Horridge are in deep conversation with none other than the super coach, Mike Newell. Arguably the #1 coach in the country, and would be offering some great advice to our players as he's also on the court. Got to be the centre of attention, Mike. As our players have re-entered the court. Horridge to serve. 5-0.
And mid-rally there, Dylan, let there be light. It was funny, I was actually talking with George Wall just before play kicked off here, and he asked me, can we turn on the lights? And I said, mate, these are timed. I have no idea when they're coming on, but as the clock strikes 5:30 here at KDV Sport on the Gold Coast, the bright lights of competition turn on.
Yeah, the stars are shining and the players are tearing it up. We've got young gun of Lucas Pascoe, ball in hand. I used to refer to him as the prodigy before he became the superstar he is, and that's a net roll that works in his favour. He is just on another level, Lucas. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't had the privilege of seeing him play, you want to see his double-handed backhand. Outrageous.
Never mind his double-handed backhand, Dylan. We just saw there his forehand, almost like a slap style.
Yep.
Hitting the face of the ball. And some great words of encouragement there from George Wall. Hats off to George Wall. He's really taken Lucas Pascoe under his wing. Not only just today here at the 2024 Trilogy Funds Australian Pickleball Championships, but with his selection of young Lucas Pascoe in the MLP Australia format, the Fast Fours captain. We might just take the opportunity while there's a quick timeout for the players to have a timeout in the commentary booth. Don't go very far though. More live action coming up very shortly.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2024 Trilogy Funds Australian Pickleball Championships. And we've had a quick timeout. The gentlemen are ready to tear it up once more for this game one. Lucas Pascoe to bring it in. That's a great shot there from Gray.
And it's just so important for Gray to keep himself at that high energy level. He feeds off his own adrenaline there, and confidence plays a huge part in his game.
Yep. Oh, Andy Horridge is swinging as well. Double-hander backhand down the right side, taking George Wall on. Great play.
That was some effort there by Andy Horridge to take on the skipper in George Wall. I think George might have been in two minds there, Dylan. That ball, I'm not sure how it appeared on camera, but that one was shaping up to be potential ATP ball there, and unfortunately it just didn't go wide enough.
Oh, George Ollie has absolutely blasted that. Gone long, however. And again, another error off the paddle of Ollie Gray. He had the easy smash there for the pop-up from George Wall.
Well, George Wall, very vocal, very uncharacteristically vocal, Dylan.
Yeah, that's a scary sight, an angry George. And that there is a miscommunication between Gray and Horridge. As a result, George and Lucas are firing. You know what I would like to see is an angry Lucas. I don't think I've ever seen him make a peep on the court.
Oh, wow. That ball was hit with authority. And there's a friendly feistiness around on this court, Dylan.
There's that double-hander backhand I was talking about, and yeah, I'm appreciating the fire in the belly of these fellas. Close game, 1 point in it. That's gone long, and fair to say, George Wall taking on his former Fast Fours teammate in Ollie Gray. Knows his game inside out, actively took on that dink rally, and we have a timeout here on the side of Ollie Gray and Andy Horridge. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bounce into a quick timeout ourselves and have a commercial break. Be back here with game one straight after this.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 2024 Trilogy Funds Australian Pickleball Championships. You're watching a semi-final clash here in the Open Men's Gender Doubles. We're into game one here, and we've just returned from a timeout. The timeout was called by Horridge and Gray. And a nicely timed timeout because it's worked out. And they've just had a side out. They return serve, well, they receive serve now. Set the tone, score some points.
Very good timeout indeed. As they continue to chip away at this lead. Only 1 point in it.
A tricky ball to read that one from Horridge. Just hit up way up high, and Wall had many opportunities to do many different things to that one, but smartly put at the feet of Horridge.
Oh, Ollie Gray going for it. The gap was there. I have to say, Adam, it feels like Lucas Pascoe has been frozen out here.
I just think there's a reluctance to send the ball his way. They've got a clear, distinct pattern to just be dinking between Gray and Wall. I certainly think from Wall and Gray, sorry, Wall and Pascoe. Oh, what a finish there. Yeah, from Wall and Pascoe, their intentions are pretty clear. They want to dink as much as they can to Ollie Gray.
I just think it's crazy to consider that George Wall is the one being focused. One of the best players in the country.
And a premeditated hit there from Gray, but this time Wall in place, ready to take that one. Ultimately, that ball sailing wide, though, from the Wall and Pascoe end. Oh, my goodness!
Oh!
Dylan Kimlin. That is an outrageous ATP by Horridge there.
Yeah.
And he points over to us. Tip of the cap, Andy Horridge.
That was outrageous. Andy Horridge wielding that hammer, smacking it down the right side. And that's your hammer highlight. And Ollie Gray follows it up with a dink into the net.
Well, 9-9 in this game one here, Dylan. Each moment is crucial.
And I was just having a look at some rankings for us all, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a bunch of star-studded players on the quarters. Ollie Gray is currently the ranked 4 open mixed doubles player in Australia. George Wall, the 5th ranked open men's doubles player. Mixed doubles, my apologies. And for the open men's doubles, Andy Horridge is the 5th ranked player, as well as the 2nd ranked open men's singles player. So these gentlemen are all terrific on the court.
Well, they save 1 game point there, Dylan. 10-9-2 now. And they wrap it up. Nice tidy work there at the end by Pascoe and Wall. A couple of timeouts from all players. Very tactical minded in this first game one. Changing of ends. We do see a bit of a dying down of the wind. It's not as breezy as it was before, and I think all players there performed fabulously well. Some real highlights there with the ATPs.
Yeah, Andy Horridge with a casual 2 ATPs to start our game off and nearly to finish our game off there at the end. It was a pretty crazy game one, as expected. And to think we have plenty more pickleball action for you this evening, as our 5:30 group has just started as well. But as expected, you know, these fellas are all terrific on and off the court, and they are putting on a show for everyone here at KDV.
They certainly are. It's been a marvellous day here at KDV Sport on the Gold Coast. All 40 courts in use, 800 players, and there's certainly a lot more live action to come. We just earlier had the girls on court, the women, should I say. Congratulations to our gold medal winning pair of Rose Van Rieck and Summer Alabona in the open division. Genuine sweethearts of the Australian pickleball scene. Some of our favourites too, Dylan, from the MLP Australia format.
As I say, the ladies of that calibre make our job at commentating very easy. They just continue to put on a show, and we can get started with our show on court. Game 2.
Well, that's some hell of a backhand from Ollie Gray there. He dictated a lot of that play Some great defense there on the baseline from Pascoe, but two-hand backhand finish there from Gray. Ooh, and he just catching Pascoe off guard, sorry, with another two-handed backhand. Well, hello, hello.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the strategy change is here between Horridge and Gray going down just in that game one. And we're seeing speed ups towards Pascoe.
Well, this is really interesting. You commented that Pascoe largely seems to get frozen out. I thought that was just a tactic of George Wall. He was happy to get into many a dink battle with Ollie Gray, but now it might be that Horridge and Gray are dictating play, and it's going Pascoe's way.
Okay, it's the trend now. We've seen it happen a couple of times, and we have an immediate timeout. George Wall wanted to have a think about it. As a result, ladies and gentlemen, we might bounce into a quick commercial break as our players have a breather and get underway with our game too.
Welcome back to the 2024 Trilogy Funds Australian Pickleball Championships. Dylan and Kimlin joining me in commentary here. Dylan, we've just been having a chat off air about the tactical timeout use. It's very eerily similar. In fact, the scoreline was exactly the same in game one. 0-4 was the scoreline when Wall and Pascoe called for the timeout. We saw Horridge and Gray stay on court. They did not go to the chair. They want to get back into live play, and here we are now.
Yeah, Gray had the double-handed backhand opportunity there, just struck it a little bit awkwardly. Yeah, the mind game's on display from these gentlemen. So much strategy in pickleball.
Well, they've got a quick side out after that timeout.
And the Yola net getting involved there, messing up Pascoe's momentum. Second server. Uncharacteristic there from George Wall.
Yeah, he just looks down at his paddle. Unfortunately, doesn't have any strings, George, so you can't blame it on them.
That is a confidence booster, and Andy Horridge has been fired up from the get-go in this game two. He knows how important this game two victory is. And Ollie Gray joins the party.
Well, Dylan, we talked before about George Wall getting a little fired up, and we've seen a couple of battles now toe-to-toe between Horridge and Wall.
We have a 6-0 lead, 6-0, one of our store holders here at APC. That goes wide. Dale Young came over to the commentary booth earlier and thanked us very much for keeping on to send people his way.
Oh, it's going to be in. No, just wide. Wow, some of the reflexes in that rally, folks.
Okay, the time is now for Pascoe. He's going to fire. He has his opportunity.
Nice play there through the middle from Andy Horridge.
Yeah, I think you could see that wind up from China. Andy Horridge, we all knew what was coming. Worked anyway.
I mentioned earlier, the wind certainly seems to have died down, so it should be unaffected from this end on screen here. The wind largely all day has been blowing from behind the camera up the middle of this court. But as the sun has started to set, the wind has dropped completely away here. So changing of ends shouldn't mean anything to either team now.
Pascoe is so calm, considering how hard he hits the ball with those smash opportunities. Outrageous. Good sportsmanship there from Andy Horridge. He's just notified our officials that on that Ernie attempt, he did touch the net, which does mean his opposition will get a point.
Way to go from Ollie Gray to get his body out the way.
Yeah, that was really well done.
Well struck at the feet there from Ollie Gray. Again, they're targeting Lucas Pascoe, Dylan.
Yeah. Well, they've got a lead, mate. Why not? Yep. The switch was there. Gray moved to the left side and left a big gap open. Dare I say, George punching through that wall.
Around the back attempt there from Gray. We're starting to see Lucas Pascoe just waking up a little bit, maybe.
He looks like
some of these attacks.
He's so relaxed. Oh, the young guns are getting into it. Pascoe, Gray exchanging blows, and Ollie Gray taking centre court under the lights. And as a result, we have a second server opportunity for Lucas Pascoe. That's called long. There we go. Points on the board.
Both Pascoe and Wall just taking their time through these points now, just trying to slow down play a little bit. And unfortunately, Pascoe lets himself down a little with that serve into the net. They are chasing down a deficit, and things like that aren't going to help, Dylan.
That's a great shot, though. I think Lucas is on the cusp of really starting to tear this game apart. He's had a couple opportunities here and has been striking the ball well. Really well dinked. Ollie Gray pushing George Wall to the left side multiple times and then punching it down the middle.
Yeah, maybe Pascoe just a little too eager to get involved now, wants to really show what he's got, because when he's got an opportunity, he's got shots like that, Dylan.
Yep. Yeah, he's so crafty on the court, Lucas Pascoe. Very, how do I word it? He hides it well, the speed ups. Especially that double-handed backhand flick of his. Unreal. A bit of impatience there from Horridge. And Ollie Gray really getting involved. Has had multiple successful strikes of the ball. And as a result, they have a slight lead.
Oh, nice shot there by Andy Horridge. Getting two hands to that backhand.
Yep, middle is the riddle, as they say, and that's just been swung and a miss from Wall and Pascoe. Lucas Pascoe has just got his ball stuck in a fence. It's a good thing the camera's not on him. His fine motor skills are in full display just then, Adam.
I think he was about to call a hindrance on these white picket fences, Dylan.
Oh, dear. We can get back underway. And it's a service error. Maybe it was a tactical delay. That was so good from Ollie Gray. Just recognise the, I guess, lack of initiative from Pascoe. He looked very relaxed there. As a result, unprepared swat down at the net. And Wall responds. Terrific play.
And what a time for George Wall to insert himself in this rally, because it's time now. They've got serve back. They're 3-9 down. They're chasing down a reasonable deficit at this point in the match. Of course, we're first to 11 here. Gray and Horridge are very close to that magical 11.
It does feel like this last 5 minutes, neither side able to get many points on the board, though. We've been stuck in a rut. Yep, Ollie getting out of the way. Lucas Pascoe trying to speed things up, and it does feel like, as you mentioned earlier, Adam, he is forcing things here. Oh, there we go. Wall getting involved. That is a good speed up. Oh, Ollie Gray nearly.
Well, a spectacular effort there by Gray, but how's the lift in intensity from George Wall here, Dylan?
Yeah. Well, they've secured game one, he knows. They just need another win to get through. That's a terrific play. George Wall is really starting to dominate. Danger signs for the combination of Gray and Horridge. And Lucas is being handy as well. That's a nice cheeky point, and we have a timeout on the side of Horridge and Gray as a result. Momentum heavily swinging in favour of Wall and Pascoe, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to bounce into a quick timeout ourselves with a commercial break, and we're back live straight after this.
You push yourself to perform. So do we. For over 25 years, investors have trusted Trilogy Funds to maximize income while preserving capital. So for income performance, invest with Trilogy Funds.
Welcome back to the 2024 Trilogy Funds Australian Pickleball Championships. You're joining us at a crucial time in this game two. 6-9, Wall and Pascoe have the serve. And it's another one that goes in, and we just saw that just before the timeout was called. A forehand winner, ×2 from Pascoe here. Pascoe first server here, so Gray and Horridge just looking to win this rally so they can put some pressure on that second server. Ding-dong-dink battle there, and the first to pull the trigger, change up the momentum, well, George Wall.
We've just changed to more of a traditional male doubles play style with the cross-dinking, plenty of it. Andy Horridge just a little bit impatient pulling that trigger. And Ollie Gray with 2 errors for his side. Wall and Pascoe have done tremendously well here. They took game one. Can they take game two? And that brings up the 10-9 situation here as we've got a timeout on the side of Horridge and Gray. Let's just talk about George Wall for a little bit, mate. We were discussing off air how he is such a thinker, and he's fired at the right time. My apologies. They had quite a big deficit to dig back, and George Wall has just willed his side. Lucas Pascoe with a quick, handy forehands down the right side to earn a couple of points, and you know, they find themselves now in a match-winning situation.
Well, largely we saw in this game too that Lucas Pascoe started to get targeted by both Horridge and Gray. And we haven't seen that in this fight back. It's been quite successful from Wall and Pascoe. Of course, they were down in this match 4-9, Dylan.
Yep.
And they've clawed their way all the way back here to be now with a match point.
Receivers have no timeouts remaining.
Yeah, well, let's find out what happens. Lucas Pascoe is going to bring it in, currently 10-9. That is swatted away. Ollie Gray making short work of that pop-up opportunity. They have to defend it once more, though. Second server. Wall to bring it in.
10-9-2.
Great placement. Ollie Gray pushing Pascoe out to the right side, seeing the gap, hitting it in between Wall and Pascoe. They get it back. Can they tie things up?
9-10-1.
And Ollie Gray, I think he nearly tripped upon himself there on that recovery.
I think, unfortunately, he's just slipped up at the very wrong time in this match. Fortunately, it's not going to cost them a point, but it does cost them one of their service. But the second server now in Horridge.
There he is, George Wall. Just consistency. That's all it is. And as a result, they've got the ball back. Match point situation. Pascoe to bring it in. Gray and Horridge must defend 2 more serves.
Oh, and a body bag that was not meant to be, Dylan.
Yeah.
You could tell Ollie Gray was lining that ball up for the middle of the court. He's towed that one into the body of George Wall, and that would not be appreciated, I'd say, by Wall.
Well, here we go.
But it's changed the momentum of this match, I think.
Well, we'll see. I know Gray's got no malice in his heart at all, but can they use this? There we go. George is getting him back. All right, fair enough. And we have to say, Gray's just stung his former captain at him. Ollie Gray's dancing. Lucas Pascoe's leading the way.
I didn't mind that. That's been working for Gray and Horridge, but on that occasion, didn't.
They're going toe-to-toe, mate.
Yeah, that speed up against Pascoe. What a time to do it. That's certainly been a winning formula for them, but watch out for Pascoe. You don't want to target him for too long.
Oh, and that's gone long. And as a result, George Wall, Lucas Pascoe have done very well to win this game too, considering the deficit they had. You can just see Ollie Gray apologising to George Wall for that beam. No, well done to the fellas. They will move on. And we are going to move on to a quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. Once we return, Adam Hall will be having an interview with our winning side.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2024 Trilogy Funds Australian Pickleball Championships. I'm standing with the winners of that semi-final match in George Wall and Lucas Pascoe. You've done it in 2 games, boys, but in that second game, you were down 4-9. How did you bring yourself back to win that second game and march on to this gold medal match coming up next?
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle there. Andy and Ollie played really well. They came out hot in both of those sets, and I think even though we were down 4-9, I felt like we were on top of a lot of the rallies. It was just execution on our part that just wasn't quite there. Thought the game plan was right. We just needed to be a little bit better, and fortunately we got there. We didn't leave ourselves much margin for error, but we got it done.
And Lucas Pascoe, I am going to ask you a question. I lulled you over here saying I wasn't. Tell me what it means to you to be playing with someone like George. He's a, dare I say, older statesman in comparison to your youthful age of 17, but certainly it looks like he plays a really good role for your pickleball on these courts.
Yeah, playing with him is good because he takes up most of the court for me, so I just get to stand there and just counter, which is like what I'm good at, so it feels easy to play with him, which is good.
Well, you guys played amazing. You're going to be marching on to the gold medal match. We wish you all the best. Don't go too far, folks. We've got more action coming up live from the 2024 Trilogy Funds Australian Pickleball Championships.